I'll give a small introduction about AFC, what we do, and how we see de-risking projects to bring them onto bankability and financial close. AFC is a DFI. We have a pseudo DFI status. We started in 2007. Our main focus is on infrastructure, and we have a Pan-African mandate. At inception, we're capitalized with $1 billion and fully paid, and total assets now at about 1.6 billion, with an active investment portfolio at about 800 million. For us at the AFC, we are very sector focused, but in terms of products, we can apply a broad range, starting from the early stage project development, investment, and going through plain vanilla debt equity, convertibles, mezzanine, and shareholder loan type of structure. And this, we believe, helps in how we apply these products. Usually depends on where we perceive the perceived level of risk. And looking at projects, if you take a project over a risk time continuum, you'll find that the risk, as you well know, is usually high most at the construction phase, early before you get to, just after the project development issues have been addressed. But even before that, you still have a lot of difficulties trying to find investors who were willing to put in their money when all the loopholes have not been taken care of. And so for us, we see that as very instrumental in trying to make projects bankable. So together with the FMO, we've come together to put a project development facility of about 15 million, but again, the pool could be larger. And what we do technically is to help projects go from the idea stage to bankability. And this, in some cases, for example, in a power project, will be basically helping to renegotiate the PPA, doing all your due diligence, going through all this process. And typically, you find that sponsors usually don't have this kind of deep pockets to go through this process, because you very later on they find that this project development cost will be about 5 to 10% of the total project cost. So typically they don't have that deep pocket if it's not a very strong sponsor. So we tend to help them go through that phase, and this can then be rolled into equity early stage process. On a very macro level, we believe that asking for early stage equity, putting in as much equity as you can find, which is basically going back to the basics, is very instrumental in helping to de-risk this project. If you have a 50-50 early stage debt equity ratio, and then go into a phase where when the project becomes operational, you can then refinance it and get out the equity and then recirculate and go into phase 2 or phase 3 of the project. And so we think that that's one very key way of doing that. Another way is to think about using standardized approach to the process. So i.e., in a power project, for instance, you find that many governments are grappling with different IPP and sponsors, and they can't find a way to, they're working across different documents. So as sponsors, we must try as much as possible, or project developers, to use templates that are easy and that they are familiar with, so that it becomes easy and the processes can move very quickly. I think the other one is, on a very macro level, will be, again, coming back to the issue of project development. This is where the issue of a very strong sponsor counts, because across Africa, I'm sure most of you would have found out, is that it may be difficult to find sponsors who are willing to let go, i.e., they want sort of a carried interest, but they're not willing to share or give up their equity. So helping to convince these sponsors that this is exactly what they need, and to make the projects bankable I think is a step in the right direction.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.